Yo, um,
Yeah,
yeah, boys,
go ahead.
it's gonna be a good one.
We'll see about that. Um, cool. So yeah, for me, my the games that I played this week is gonna be pretty short.
I mean, same.
But I mean, yours are at least different than what it was last week.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
chaos. It's pure chaos. Just the way I like it. Just the way I like a battlefield.
how long is that beta going on for?
Till today.
Oh, okay.
Today was literally the only day I could because I was doing my last days of the training, which I already finished yesterday. I graduated from it.
Nice.
Finally, yeah. Ugh. It was, I felt like I would never come to that, that day would never arrive.
Yeah,
Finally, we're here.
I can feel that.
Mm. Let's get this met. Look at this one. Let's go assault package. I'm done with that sniper. This is a more close quarters area.
All right.
My goodness, that was a mine. I almost felt like I was in Kicksman too.
All right, where the hell am I supposed to be going? Yeah, we playing Kana today.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Wait to hear how it's been holding up compared to the other disappointing title.
All right, we are good. We're good. I fixed everything in the description. Title's good. Sounds good. Tweet is out. We're ready.
Cool.
Hey.
All right, so I guess we can get started. Um, guys, welcome back to the 32nd episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I am your host, Soul, a connoisseur of anime waifus. With me, as always, I got Macho. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, it's been a long week. I'm doing good though. It's the beginning of the week was a bit somber, but there was also a couple. It was a couple with news that was exciting. So, but other than that, man, it was a pretty good week. And the thing is, Jade, I got something in my back pocket.
Oh man, we're already starting.
Well, I just wanted to, like, as the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic, I had to just remind everybody of this little invitation that we all kind of got very early in the week. Do you know what the invitation day was? Do you know what it was?
No, I didn't watch. I wasn't on Twitter this entire week. I didn't watch TV this entire week.
Hey, copyright. Relax.
You better be careful. We can't afford that.
I mean, we'll definitely talk about it. But it was, we got a good invitation this week, so I just want to remind you all.
You making me so tempted to conveniently forget a topic this podcast.
But no, it's been a good times, man. It's been a good times. It's gonna be a little rainy this weekend in NYC, so I'm looking forward to just chilling in the crib and playing some games, man.
Yes, sir. Walt, what about you, man? What's going on?
What's going on? A lot, not much at the same time. This week, Manga Mania has died down a little bit. Haven't been able to read because whenever I get chill time, I just fall asleep because I've been tired because of work. But hey, that's about to change. Things have slowed down. Gonna actually get into the groove of things with the schedule, so gonna be able to play and read what I actually want to do. I've only been able to touch Tales of Arise a couple times this week, so I've been having fun with that, just getting through the story and grinding away. I got to a point where I was fighting a boss, and since I'm playing the game on hard, the boss was was more difficult. So I grinded.
Again, bless your soul. Bless your soul.
I was considering like, should I change the difficulty? Because this is getting ridiculous.
Yes.
Because it was getting annoying.
Yes. Yes.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn the patterns. Screw this. I'm gonna learn the patterns, and I learned them, and I leveled up everyone 2 more levels, and I started just using Rinwell, because Rinwell is amazing. Those combos, the charging of spells, that does so much damage. So I've been doing that. Other than that, man, I'm no king of Kingdom Hearts like our fellow here co-host, but
That's right.
I am happy that key hole has been.
Hey, yo.
What do you?
God damn.
Hey man, our hearts have been opened, and we have been blessed with the light that shines through the darkness.
Exactly.
Because Kingdom Hearts is light, and we are not who we are. Nobody.
Wait, I gotta stop you there. Because you guys see what Kingdom Hearts does to these people's brains.
Nah.
you see what happens.
Nah, this is right now. This is heresy because Walt has no idea what he's talking about. I'm gonna stand by this, and I've had it, Jay. I've had it. You know, people talking mad shit about Kingdom Hearts and Sora. You know what? I had it. This is enough is enough.
Tell him, Macho.
You definitely had something, man. You had that brain rot. That's what it is.
And I gotta before we'll get to that topic, but I really want to say, like, from the top, like, we won't get into it now, but that is one of the most beautiful reveals of any character. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, with
I'll
all
get
that,
into it.
with all
I'll get
that,
into it.
with all that glitter. Yeah.
Oh man, all the glitter.
I'll get Jay. It's magic. All right, it's magic. Listen.
Yeah, glitter is magical, Jay. I don't know what's wrong with you, man.
All right.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, man?
All right. Guys, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna ignore that. So I want to remind you guys to go ahead and drop a like on the podcast. Consider subscribing. We would greatly appreciate that. It helps us out a ton. We're gonna get started with talking about the games that we've been playing this week. As for me, it's really just an extension of last week, man. Like, I don't know why it's taking. I think I hit a wall with Deathloop, man. It's just I don't even really care. Like, I forget if I said it last week in the podcast that like my goal was to finish the game before the next podcast. That just didn't happen. So it's like back to the old grind. What's that SpongeBob quote? It's like back to the old grind with
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I guess I'll play it when I play it, I guess, or whatever. I just haven't really been playing it that much. What I have been playing though is Dishonored 2. I've been Arcane's other game.
Yeah.
I've been playing that more, and I never played with Corvo in that game. I've always played, like, both of my playthroughs with Dishonored 2 was with Emily. So this time around I'm trying with Corvo, and I'm playing it on hard, which I'm a little terrified of because the AI in Dishonored, even in normal mode, can be kind of brutal. So I'm definitely a little bit scared. But
Is it as brutal as like the Alien in Alien Isolation?
I never played that game.
Dude, that AI is absolutely terrifying, because you can be like doing a perfect just run of hiding and whatnot, but if that dude is like, I know you're there, I'm just not deciding to look, but if that alien's like, you know what, let me kill you for the next 3 hours, he'll do it.
It's not even like a difficulty thing. It's just almost more like a bullshit thing, because it's like okay, how in the world did this guard see me? Like, their field of vision is so inconsistent, and that's like so important for a stealth game to have that done right. Especially because I'm doing I don't know how well I was able to do with Emily, but with Corvo, my goal is like I forget what the term is, but it's like a ghost run, so you're not allowed to kill anyone in this playthrough, and then you're also like not supposed to get detected at all. So that's my goal with this playthrough. So, with the AI being as inconsistent as they are, that's gonna make this playthrough even more difficult. But I'm looking forward to the challenge. Um,
Hey.
but yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Really haven't been playing too much else. Um, but I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts on Battlefield. You guys have been playing that, right?
I
I don't.
played for like 2 matches last night.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Macho. You played? You played a little bit?
Yeah, I played for 2 matches last night, and I think it more or less just confirms my feelings on military shooters even more now. That it really just doesn't click for me,
Oh man.
and it's really just a me problem, honestly. Because even with Star Wars Battlefront, where I love the Star Wars IP and like the history of going through like all those different worlds and everything, even with that, and all of its like great gameplay and staying true to the Star Wars franchise, I just couldn't keep playing it. Like for some reason it's like the gameplay and the big like epic like huge maps and everything just crazy going around you and kind of just being aware of like of everything that's going on in the big map. It just doesn't really click with me, and I just kind of get bored. So I played those 2 matches, and then I was like, okay, I get it, and then I'm off. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair, man.
I have nothing really too much to add to as far as like guns or like how the maps are, because the last one I played was Battlefield 3, and I just played the campaign and I just absolutely hated it.
I remember I
it was
remember
such a
that.
slog.
Yeah, I remember that being
Is that the one?
abysmal.
Is that the one you start like in a city, and it's like a quick time event, and then you like go back in time and do the actual campaign?
Maybe it was whatever one that was free for PS Plus some years down the line.
Oh damn.
So whatever one that was free, whether it was 3 or whether it was 4, either way, I played the campaign because people would say like it's a great campaign, and I played it and I was just absolutely bored.
Great campaign. What were those people clowns? Great campaign.
No, I think it was legit just people that just love the franchise, and from
got it.
seeing around Twitterverse too, where people were saying like, look at all these bugs. I saw the bugs and glitches too. Like they're bad. Like they're pretty bad, and some people even still saying like, yeah, this is absolutely day one. Still, I'm just like, this thing game releases in a month.
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie. It might be a day one for me too, baby.
Man, get that clown makeup ready, boy, because you're gonna be
man.
seeing white flashes across your screen. You see buildings popping in and out. There's guys that are floating in their invisible helicopter. They got the Wonder Woman helicopter apparently.
Oh man.
So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like this is gonna be a repeat of Battlefield 4. I remember that game was absolutely like absolutely abysmal on
Was it
launch.
really?
Yeah, that one was like notoriously bad. Um,
Now
but
this is where my some might say capness shows, because I sometimes like certain games that people just don't click with, like Dead Island at launch and whatnot. Battlefield 4 was the last one that I enjoyed, and it's.
I enjoyed it. I really liked Battlefield 4. I mean, after launch,
No, yeah, exactly.
consensus is that it's still a pretty good game. When it
Exactly.
worked.
Yes, it still holds up. Like you can still I think rent servers or something and keep doing matches. It's still going. The game, that game did so well for me. With games, it's all about fun. For me, it has to be fun. It has to be just. If there's mayhem, make it fun. And in that game, you had what was it, Levolution, which is every map had this gimmick, this just thing that would destroy, self-destruct, happen, big event. There was a map that if you took down the dam, it would flood the whole map, and the whole map would essentially change.
Yeah, there was the Shanghai level.
Yeah. You had stuff like that happen in different maps where it would just either change the map or a big event that would kill just dozens of people at a time.
it would drastically change the match as well.
Exactly.
Not only the level itself, but it would change strategically. Okay, now we have to account for this, this entire building that's not, here anymore, and that creates its own little like new level because it's like literally, like for capture the flag. I forgot what it's called in Battlefield. I think it's like Rush. I don't think it's Conquest. I think it's Rush. But now it's like, okay, like all the flags or the points that you're supposed to capture were inside this building, and now the entire skyscraper has like crumbled to the ground. So now all of the points of capture are like within like rubble. So now you have to like account for that, and yeah, it changes the match like on the fly. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And it was a more modern Battlefield. The thing with the most latest Battlefield, I didn't play Battlefield 5, but Battlefield 1 was really a snooze fest for me because the maps, most of them were so just flat and not much was going on aside from a few buildings. And the guns were not really all that fun to use because they were most semi-automatic. So, I don't know. It was such a slow Battlefield, I think. I mean, it makes sense. I don't think the first war was as, like, fast-paced with the guns as they are now because they weren't, like, automatics like they are now. And at least not as much. But I didn't click. I didn't like it. It left a sour taste in my mouth with Battlefield. But then I saw Battlefield 2042 being announced, and it legit just threw me back to when I first played like Bad Company or Battlefield 4 or even Battlefield 3, some instances of online, not even the campaign, because campaign in Battlefield hasn't really been what's been bringing me back to the series. But in this case, I've only been able to play. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. If there's one thing that Call of Duty does at least a bit better in terms of, like, its counterpart that is Battlefield, I feel like the campaign has been a bit more consistent and a bit more memorable and it has had like actual like memorable characters throughout the years. Like you don't go into Battlefield being like, oh man, I hope they have a skin for this character. Or I hope they have the skin for this character. No, like in Warzone, whenever they threw like Woods or Mason, people were like, whoa, like throwback, like nostalgia, But in this case, I've only been able to play one match, which literally right now, like I'm looking at the summary of the match because I just finished, and man, I don't know what I was expecting. In my mind, I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna relive the magic. I'm gonna relive the old days of like the military shooter, and like it's all right. It is. I don't know what I was expecting. It's the same. It's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Unfortunately, I thought like it was gonna be a bit more. I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's gonna blow my socks off a little bit because it's been so long. But I don't know. I'm so used to just being rewarded for progress, but not in the way that a shooter does. Because a shooter rewards you through, leveling up and new guns and new attachments and just like rising on the leaderboard on the actual match. But my idea of progress that is satisfying to me is things like Tales of Arise, where it's like you get these amazing weapons so you can fight these amazing enemies that were levels behind. Like in the first level, there's this enemy that you just cannot fight. And until you progress through the game enough, you won't be able to fight that enemy. And that kind of reward and backtracking that you have to do to like complete I don't know, it's a different, obviously it's a JRPG, versus a FPS, it's a completely different ball game. But that's just me. I guess my taste has just changed a lot. Maybe I still buy this game because some friends tell me, hey, buy it, and I have a blast. Because that's the big appeal of these games. The fact that I remember every single military shooter that I've ever played fondly, except for Battlefield 1, is because I played it with a group of friends. And we would get on, I don't know, every 2 days at night, we would get on and we would just have a blast until like 2 in the morning. That's what makes an FPS special for me, I guess. It's not the FPS itself. And I specifically mean military shooters. Because any other FPS, give me Doom Eternal, give me Dishonored, give me all these like first-person games.
BioShock, man, BioShock.
Bro, BioShock, like even, man, there's so many because this is not only military shooters. This is just the big, the titans of the industry. But yeah, I'm not disappointed. I'm just the same as I was before I started the beta, which is not a bad thing. Again, that's just me. The tastes have changed a lot. I don't know. I can't really add much, and I'm not gonna do a disservice to the franchise because I know it's a phenomenal franchise to a lot of people, and I know it does like phenomenal things in its own category. But I still might buy it. Maybe not at full price. Maybe I'll ask someone, "Hey, man, I'll play with you, but you gotta like chip in because I ain't gonna put full price with it." I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I do.
What you said a little bit earlier kind of resonated with me is that like I don't really play Battlefield for like the progression side of it. Like yeah, sure, it's nice to get like new weapons and stuff like that, but yeah, it's like with Battlefield, it's never about like ooh, like I'm excited to have that carrot on the stick sort of thing that I'm working or grinding towards. Like I usually ignore that stuff with Battlefield, and it's always just about like matches, like match to match, the fun that can bring more than anything else really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's and I think that's neither a good or bad thing. It's just the way that it resonates for us, Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make the game a bad game. I think when a game is able to capture you through two different means, whether that be through the game itself or through like a specific way of playing the game, like with friends or just having a blast with them and just talking like talking shit with each other and just like raging amongst each other. Like it's fun, It's just pure fun. But it at this point, I guess I prefer to spend my time playing other games that I actually like will remember for a long time. The reason why I replayed Persona 5 like 4 times because I absolutely love that game and I'll never forget it. And that's one of the games that I can go back to and replay again. But that's me, JRPGs it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, no, that's my mindset completely too. Which is why if I'm ever going to decide to dedicate my time to an online game, I want to make sure like I really love it. So, and the only game I've actually had that affinity for is Final Fantasy 14, which unbeknownst to me, because yes, I'm a Final Fantasy fan, but was I an MMO fan? Not in the slightest. I actually had to kind of really dig into it and follow some friends and really dedicate myself to it to like actually really love it. But when it comes to something like Fortnite or any of these others, any other free to play games, it's going to be a hit or a miss, and most of the time it's been a miss. But I'm kind of hoping Halo Infinite really changed my mind on that, because from what I've seen, people have been really all about it, and with Call of Duty not in my hindsight at all, or not even my foresight, and Battlefield just kind of being scratched off the list here. Hopefully, it's Halo Infinite.
And dude, and well, I was gonna say, not the whole DualShock, but it'll be on Game Pass, so I'll hop on and check it out with you and see like if
It's free to
like,
play. You can download it any case.
Oh, then we can definitely like hop on and check it out, like to see how it feels, doing multiplayer and all that.
100%. I'm excited to try it after all the good feedback. But but back to the Battlefield thing. Yeah, I think it's really just a me thing. Like I really just can't really get into it. And I think where you guys were saying before about the progression thing, I think that's actually I didn't even think about it until you guys said it. It's a kind of a big thing for me because I love seeing progression. I love seeing like where I started and where I'm going. So I think that's actually a really big factor into like my online play.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And something so simple that games do that this one. Yeah. These games are very much based on your skill. No matter the progression you do with guns and whatnot, it all comes down to how well you play and how quick you are on that trigger finger and how like aware you are of your surroundings. and that's a fantastic thing. It hones skills for people. It allows people to have like quick reflexes and whatnot. I don't hate it for that. I don't dislike it. It doesn't mean that I don't want to put the effort in. But the more and more time has passed, the more I've noticed that I want a game that I can put effort in, but at the same time I can like turn my mind off and just play. Like just have my fingers do all the talking and not at all put any thought into it. You know?
Oh, well, see, I have the perfect game for you then.
What?
If you haven't heard, there's a recently
man.
acclaimed Final Fantasy
So you
4.
know what? Our good friend Mahmood is in the chat. He says what's up. Nice
I
to
was
see
reading
you.
my cup, just so you know. I was reading my cup. Like, man,
Hey,
you
man.
cup.
Man,
No, legit.
I
Hey,
don't need to
man.
hear
Now
that.
that training ended, I'm gonna have an actual schedule. Now we're really gonna be hopping on that. Now we're really gonna be hopping on that Final Fantasy, my boy. You know
Yes,
it.
sir.
But
Hey.
no, I'm looking forward to the game. Do
yeah, man.
I think these glitches and bugs and et cetera are going to be ironed out before the release of the game? No, I definitely don't think so. But
You're well aware then. You're well aware.
I'm well aware. It's
Hey,
what's that hashtag that Kofi started? It's my money, right? Yep. I will be employing that philosophy with Battlefield 2042.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, it's just like there's like nothing else like it in terms of like the scale of the levels and like, man, because I feel like there's probably other multiplayer games like this, but I don't know. There's something about like those long like 30-minute matches, right? When typically these games only take like maybe 5 to 10 minutes to complete a match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like it always feels like, okay, like time to buckle up. We're gonna be here for a minute, and
Absolutely.
it always feels like it's like your own like little like individual like, I don't know, like movie or something that you're getting into, and that anything can happen. So yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point. That is a good, I mean, that's a good way of articulating it, and that is something that I do feel that this does well. It's the fact that everything you do on the match, well, not everything, a lot of things that happen in the match to you is kind of on you. It's all, there's no, Battlefield doesn't have the twitchiness that Call of Duty does, and doesn't have like the arcadiness, obviously, that Call of Duty does. I like that it's more slower paced. It's more like methodical, and you actually have to think about like where you aim at, where you shoot. Although Call of Duty has been like doing a bullet drop.
Yeah,
lately.
it's definitely slower paced and methodical. But I would disagree in the sense that I feel like one of the things that I really like about Battlefield in comparison to like other multiplayer shooters is that like it does somewhat feel like you have to kind of like work together. Like I like the classes of
absolutely.
like being like a medic and an engineer and like
Sniper and
yeah, and okay, so this guy's tank is busted up. Let me fix that really quick. Healing up other fallen soldiers, etc., etc. It feels very mag. It feels feels like that a little bit. If I do say so myself. But
of course. Maybe this is a remake of Mag in Disguise.
hey, man, maybe. But yeah, it's I really like that aspect of the game as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
A lot of role playing. I like the role playing aspect of it, where I'm in love, and this is with any military shooter. I'm in love with and even like hero shooters. I'm in love with the idea of the sniper, but like the true sniper, the one that hides like in the mountains and they can see everything except for like the enemy and like the
You
Ghost
mean
Recon.
you mean in the bushes and right in a random ditch that happened to me like 3 times last night?
Dude,
Those snipers?
yes. I like to be. That's my role in like Battlefield, and it's always been the either that or a medic. And I've always been one to like find the most bizarre places and snipe from there, and it just feels so rewarding to
Oh,
like.
I bet it
Oh,
does.
absolutely. And here's the thing, right? That's frowned
Yeah,
upon.
Macho sounded so sad when he said that.
It was more disappointed than anything.
Because here's the thing, like with Call of Duty, that's like frowned upon in like actual multiplayer matches when you're like hard scoping, when it's like the actual kind of sniping that snipers do. Like you're rewarded more for quick scoping. Oh yeah, no, that's great. Oh, he quick scoped me. That's great. I'm more of the. I'm a patiently wait, even if it's 10 minutes. I'm a wait, and I have fun with that. I just have fun being like hiding, and not. There's a difference between hiding and being a bitch. I'm not being a bitch because if like
You hear him defend himself.
You know what? That's what
No,
that's what all bitches
Yeah,
say.
that's what
right?
they say.
That's what I'm saying.
This is I have to admit this is some bitch behavior right here.
It's
Here's
some
the thing,
bitch
man.
made behavior right here.
Most like when I play Fortnite, most matches I've won in like the first couple of seasons were because I was hiding and sniping.
Oh,
And I was
man.
like, hey man, you ain't never find your killer. That's the best kind of way to win.
Hey man,
I don't know, man.
congratulations, you played yourself, man. Wow.
Hey man, but yeah, man, it's hey man, if it clicks with people, it clicks. Maybe I'm not saying I won't buy it. Maybe it's not a day one purchase for me, but maybe it'll grow. Maybe I get my group of friends, we go and hassle and we kill each other and all that.
Man, you're
no,
so
we'll see.
lucky we live in the era where every time that you kill someone, you don't hear the reaction. You just hear silence. Like, I
Have you played
swear,
Warzone?
if you're in the Xbox 360 era of Modern Warfare 2, you wouldn't hear all kinds of slurs thrown at you, my boy.
Oh
Bro,
man.
Macho, Warzone has that. Warzone, you can hear the reaction when you
Oh,
kill
does
someone.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, they brought it back. That's actually pretty cool.
Bro,
They
I
brought it
once,
back.
guys, I was once playing a Warzone match, and this is like a year ago, and I was with I had an RPG, right? Just a straight RPG, and I was in like an actual like house, and I wasn't trying to like get someone from afar. It was someone in the house, and I'm running, right? I'm running down the stairs, and the person turns from the corner, and I just blast this RPG in their face, and they die. I survive by like a hair of health, and all I hear is, "That's a fucking RPG." It's like it's the best reactions when you do the most absurd shit to them, and they're just like, "Man, what?" And you just hear the controller just like, you just hear that. Oh
Yeah,
man, that's
I can't do that anymore.
man.
Just because of, you're always like, it's always bad audio with their microphones, or they're using their controller or speaker, and their mom is in the background yelling at them. Like, I can't. Yeah, I that was so prevalent when I was playing GTA back like religiously in like 2014 and like 2015. I couldn't do that. I had to turn off the public server or whatever it was. Like, so
Yeah,
quick.
they had that for Destruction All Stars too. It was great. I remember day one, you hear people like, "Hey, what's up? Who else has a mic?" I'm like, "Dude, the controller has a microphone. Everybody has a mic."
Yeah, man, he didn't know any better, man. He didn't know.
Yo, the best kind of like lobby was the one that like in Black Ops 1. So that was the peak for me in military, like in fun. There were matches where like you're in the lobby and you hear just the music and whatever, and you see one person like boom, like the mic shows up, and then you see ba 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 ba, all the mic shows up, and all you hear is
Yeah, man, I wasn't down for that.
oh man, it's hilarious because everyone is just. I love it when other people get salty in a game because it's so hilarious to me. That's like part of the fun. It's part of the fun to me. It
Really is.
It really is, man. But yeah, man.
But yeah, that's Battlefield. Is that sort of the main games that you guys have been playing?
No,
Yeah.
I have. I got a couple on my belt here, but
Shoot.
well, did you finish yet or no?
No, no, man. I told in the beginning it was just a little bit of Tales of Arise, but I haven't really played anything new.
Okay. Yeah, I've been delving into a couple of different games this week. Mostly Final Fantasy 14. Obviously, that's kind of just my comfort food game right now. And I've been actually playing through the Castlevania trilogy, the OG, with the Castlevania collection. It's spooky season, fellas. So I decided to actually dive into those games. I played through Castlevania 1 again. Great game. It's that game's a lot of fun once you actually know the bosses and can navigate the tough terrains of it. But then I started playing through Castlevania 2, and this was the game I actually needed a walkthrough for, just having by my side, because it's actually super cryptic and it's a little more RPG-ish, which is really cool. It's different from the first game, but it kind of makes you go like, oh man, I kind of wish it's like they kind of go forth with more like the first game style, where it's a little more platform heavy. There's bosses that are like, there's like 4 or 5 bosses in the game, and in the second one there's not a lot of bosses. It's a lot more about exploration, a lot more Metroidvania kind of, actually, where you get like certain items that you need to progress through the levels and through like the different towns and stuff like that. So it's cool seeing like the roots of where Castlevania started and where it is trying to evolve and how it's trying to kind of evolve itself really in its gameplay. And I started Castlevania 3 and I'm almost done with it. And that game is just fantastic. You actually get to play as different characters. It has a little bit of 2 in it, where you get like certain has certain RPG elements in it, and then it's more in the vein of the first game, where it's a lot more platform heavy. There's more bosses, and the characters you actually play as are not like the regular Simon Belmont, which you get played in the first 2 games. But you actually play as Trevor, and you actually get to play as Sypha, who's actually a guy in this game.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's this other dude, he plays this other guy named Grant McNasty.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of transition that was, but you get to play as this guy called Grant McNasty, Sypha, and Trevor, and then Alucard too. You get to play as Alucard. So yeah, I'm getting through Castlevania 3, man. It's a joy. I'm having a ton of fun with it. Looking forward to play like the rest of them with Symphony of Night, and kind of just go through kind of like the legacy of Castlevania, man. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I'm using that quick save like a little bitch that I got. I'm in it right now. I'm using that heavy. And then what was the other game I'm playing? Scarlet Nexus.
Cool.
I got 6 hours into it, and I have good things to report. So I have good things to report. It's a fantastic game. It feels like it's a mix. I've said it before in the tweet. It's like a mix of Nier Automata's menu and kind of graphical style, but with Persona 5's funky and jazzy music, and its own spin on like the action anime combat, which is really cool. I don't think it's as fun as Tales of Arise's team-based combat, but I do like its different take, where you have your teammates that are with you on the field, but it feels like they're kind of not there. Like they don't really have an effect. But what really makes them stand out is when you press a combination of buttons and you're able to use the specific buff for yourself, whoever character you're playing as. So I'm playing as Kasane, so she's more of a long range fighter, and there's a couple of characters that have a buff for her where she basically gets an increase in defense and less staggering, so enemies can't really like topple her. There's another ability where this girl, she's super fast. I forgot. I think it's like hyper velocity, or like her power is called. So Kasane is able to just basically go through they slow down time and just go at supersonic speeds to the enemies, or for enemies that are super fast that you can't really hit, you're able to slow them down. So there's a lot of like nice variety there once you're going through these levels. And I love that it's not open to world-ish, really. You got like your sub world, and you got like your little hideout that you go to, and then that's where you go and sit at your couch, and that's where you like enact like the next story sequence. So it's very chapter heavy, and
Like Astral Chain.
I've never played Astral Chain, so I can't really make that assumption there, but it is chapter heavy. So like the more like and I like the story pacing of it so far because it feels like in every chapter there's something significant happening, which is kind of like what you want for a story anyway. But this has a really good story pace so far. So I'm enjoying it. I'm 6 hours in, and it's nothing but good things. I love the visuals, art style. I love the music, the characters. I'm warming up to more and more, and I really like this sci-fi, like unique sci-fi world that it's built, and it's asking a lot of questions right now. Is not answering them. So I'm looking forward to seeing like how how things resolve.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I'm actually like looking forward to like trying it on Game Pass then.
Yeah, it's like I really can't get over how great the music is in this game. Like it's actually really good, and it stands out, and it actually makes you like I'm humming it after like I turn off the game, and it makes me want to go up on YouTube and actually like look up the tracks and have them like as a background noise or background music while I'm driving or something. It's really good.
Man. So on the one thing that Tales lacks, this one like makes up for it.
100%. Yeah, I was actually definitely going to say that. Was like the one thing that Tales was missing for me in the game. While I still think it's an amazing game, it was definitely missing the spark and the kind of like the uniqueness of the music that Scarlet Nexus has, and it's fantastic for that. Like it really elevates the gameplay and kind of like exploring the world and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's honestly like I wouldn't even mind like buying it on PS5 just to replay it, just to go for like the trophies or anything like that, or for going for going all the trophies or anything, because I like it that much. And the thing is too, like earlier this week I was debating. I was like, should I play Ys 8 or should I play more Scarlet Nexus? And when I booted up Ys 8, and while it had a good setup and the story was pretty good, and the story so far was pretty good in it, and then what was it? The music is, of course, Ys music is always great. It felt a lot of the same for Tales of Arise. I feel like I just played. I felt like I just played this kind of game. So Scarlet Nexus is definitely opening up a kind of like is cleansing that palette in a sense for the JRPGs I'm playing.
Love to hear it.
Nice.
Highly recommend it.
Okay, I mean, well, you said you are gonna try the game.
Oh, absolutely. I've been meaning to try it ever since it came out, but it didn't. I didn't have anyone that I knew that actually got to experience it and actually confirm the greatness that people praise from it. And now I'm actually sold on trying it. I mean, it's on Game Pass, and what am I gonna lose? Might as well try it. And if I really, really like it, I might actually do what Macho mentioned and have it on PlayStation, because it's the kind of game that I see myself owning on PlayStation, if that makes sense. The only reason Astral Chain, it's on the Switch, it's only because it's a Switch exclusive. But if given the option, that's a definite buy on the PlayStation. Which, by the way, Macho, if you really are liking Scarlet Nexus and the things that you're mentioning, I would really suggest you try Astral Chain on the Switch. Really, truly, it's a really the music, the combat, it has its own gimmicks when in terms of combat. You have these summons that you have, like I forgot the names, but they're essentially like different types, like a gun summon, a sword summon, and like they're like separate entities that are linked to you through a chain, like, and it's called an astral chain. And essentially they serve as like this other creature that fights on your behalf and along your side. And the music, it's very sci-fi heavy, but it's very like sci-fi pop kind of thing. It's not so much jazz, but it is fantastic. I think Astral Chain has one of my favorite soundtracks, like, I think, in terms of anime fighting games. But it's a fantastic buy. And speaking of Switch, that's one game I'll be trying, a game that I'll be trying soon on the Switch once I get my hands on it, is Metroid Dread. I am
100%, man.
I'm dying to get my hands on that game. Dying. I haven't, and I'm not even exaggerating. Tales of Arise, I got it because I like the Tales series. and I was really looking forward to it, and it's a fantastic game. But I haven't been this excited to try a new game in a good while, like legitimately. In Metroid Dread,
those Metroidvanias, man, they just do something. Like they just spark like a hidden fire like within the game itself, man. I don't know what it is. Whether it's like Hollow Knight, whether it's Metroid, whether it's whatever kind of Metroidvania, for whatever it is, like I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I need to play that.
bro. Absolutely, and the fact that it's been so long since we had like an actual like brand new Metroid, like an actual Metroid game like this, not a Samus Returns where that was like, I think that was like a remake or more so like.
Yeah, it was a remake of 2.
Yeah, but in this case, this one, like, the approach is so different, and
It's
today's,
horror like. It's horror.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And you know what's insane? I love this little fact that when describing Samus and when they talk about Samus and anything, it's so nice that we went from just being, oh, Samus the bounty hunter, to like she's doing this. She's doing this. It's like, yes, she, like her. Like we know, like Samus, we know Samus now. Like back in the day, it was like just a suit of armor. But now, nah. I mean, hey, I don't know if there's gonna be Zero's suit in this game, but just I don't know.
Oh man,
the blonde hair, blue eyed badass, man.
Hey
Seriously.
man, she's a badass, and she's an amazing Smash character. Which, speaking of Smash, a lot of good characters in Smash, and even better one coming soon.
all right, hold your horses.
But yeah, man, that's the games. That's the games.
Y'all didn't pick up Metroid Dread on your new Switch Pro? I mean, the OLED.
Listen, I tried. Listen, y'all gonna clown me, man. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but now I gotta talk about it because Jay just forced me to talk about it.
All right.
I didn't force anything, man.
All right.
Listen, I was actually thinking about like the end of September, like, cause for my trip to Buffalo, I was like, oh, it'd be great to actually maybe pick up an OLED Switch, so that I can have it on the ride over. Because I mostly play my games on handheld on Switch, anyways. And then I learned it was coming out the week afterwards. So I actually did try to get a Switch OLED yesterday. And them junks were sold out, man. They were definitely sold out. I went to GameStop and everything. I was like, man, I missed out.
Crazy.
But
Damn.
but I secured the bag, fellas. I secured the bag.
You did?
I'm gonna go pick up at Best Buy next week, so that and I'm gonna trade in my
man.
Switch, and then
Macho.
go from there.
Macho.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I'm in the same boat. I'm like,
what?
I might be picking one up. Like,
you whores, man.
here's the thing, man. Listen. I gotta say something. Okay?
Yes.
So the Switch I have right now that I use on my TV, it's the first one I got, the original one, the Mario one, which I don't take out of the house at all. I keep that here secured beautifully. The handheld that I have is the Switch Lite because it's so convenient to take anywhere, and it's like, it feels nice. I like the Switch Lite. It's such a nice, option to have. But the more and more I started looking at videos of that beautiful OLED 7-inch screen.
Yes, sir.
Y'all
Talk
crazy.
about it.
Y'all crazy.
My guy, listen.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing, man.
Listen, OLED. Here's the thing. That's the only reason I would like. I'm here. Here's the thing. I'm thinking about like in the next week driving to a place and checking it out or online, but it's in my mind. Like before, I was not even thinking about it, but now I'm like, hey man, that whenever Hollow Knight Silk Song is announced, and I can play. I can't play that, bro.
Look, this is what's gonna happen, man. Y'all gonna get your new OLED Switch, and then in a year from now, you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? This ain't really hitting.
Listen, man. Listen, I know what you're saying, Jay. Is you're disappointed? But no, seriously. I mean, like I have the original like 2017 Switch. So, and I actually read Gene of LordsGaming.net. By the way, go check out his review for the Switch OLED. He actually was saying, like, I was reading the entire thing, I was editing it, and that more or less kind of confirmed to me, like, yeah, this is going to be a worthy upgrade, because I have the original 2017 Switch, and this new OLED one at least doubles the battery life, and obviously it's OLED, so your game's going to be looking a lot better, more crisp. The screen's wider too, so for me, like, I think it's a worthy upgrade. And
what about
plus,
that? What about the frame rate though?
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Anyways, PlayStations are for.
But so it more or less confirmed to me. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a worthy upgrade, for at least for me personally, because I play most of my games on the go, anyways. So like whenever I'm at work, I'm on break, I always bust out the Switch and play Great Ace Attorney or Mario and Rabbids or something. So for me, this is like, yeah, for sure, why not? Plus, I'm getting actually a good chunk of money from GameStop to trade in. So by the end of it, I'll only be paying like maybe $80 for the Switch.
Whatever you have to do to convince yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you caught up on it, CJ. Smart cookie, man. Smart cookie here. But yeah, man. But back to what you were saying before with Metroid Dread, man. Yeah. I can't wait to play that. Like, I'm trying to hold off because I just got Lost Judgment. I want to finish Scarlet Nexus, but Metroid Dread is that's gonna be a winner, man. I can't wait to play that.
Dude, same. Can't wait.
Hey, man. All I'm saying is it's gonna have the same musty ass 30 FPS. I hate to see it, man.
Hey, man. It's amazing. It's amazing how Nintendo games, like Nintendo first party games, like Mario and Zelda. It's amazing how even though the system only runs at like a locked FPS, it's amazing how these games just look phenomenal still in it. You know?
Yeah, they do.
And that's like, and not to, and this is not like trying to debate on your point, because you're right. Like certain games, like they shouldn't be on the Switch. Like they're like Apex, like you see that on the Switch, and you're like, what is going on? Like even Fortnite itself, and it's so noticeable. You know, after playing on the PS5, it's so noticeable with the Switch. Like certain games are just like, the only reason you would play it there, it's because that's the only option you have, and that's good. That's good that you have that option. But otherwise, it's such a downgraded version of certain games. But when it comes to like Odyssey, dude, oh my god! And I don't mean Assassin's Creed. I mean Mario Odyssey. It looks beautiful. It's like there's no downgrade to the system with other games. You know what I mean? Like you would expect that every game looks this beautiful, but that's not the case, because not every game has the same demand and performance. But yeah, man, at least with our first party, at least for Metroid Dread, I know that's gonna look saucy on this OLED.
Yeah, like, man. Mm-hmm.
Dude, and I mean OLED like as in TV, because like when I put this on my Switch on the dock mode, and I put this on the TV, dude, that Metroid, oh man, I'm gonna turn up. Oh shit, and it's October, so in a way, it's a spooky season game because it's a horror game. Right?
Yep. Yeah. No,
man.
It's perfect. It's perfect for it.
Oh man, but I got Mommy Samus taking care of me. You know?
Oh man, that's crazy.
Man, it wouldn't be a DualShock and Sense episode unless Walt says something that implicitly just imply that he was horny. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Crazy, man. But okay, man. All right, so I guess you know we had Metroid Dread. Battlefield's beta is going on. Another big release was Far Cry 6. No one on this podcast got to play it, but I'm curious, what's everyone's experience with Far Cry, and like, you know, seeing obviously the reviews for the game came out. What are your guys' sort of like, you know, thoughts on, you know, Far Cry 6, the reception it's gotten? Do you have any interest at all playing this game? You know, this game takes place in a fictional version of Cuba, so it's got that flavor in it. But
flavor.
That adobo flavor. I feel that.
That adobo flavor, boy. You got Gus in the game.
First off, I got a bone to pick with Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh,
Really?
what's going on? What's up?
So I forgot what I think I was just watching YouTube actually last night while I was doing some writing, and it just like hit me that like, and I understand why every single commercial like his face is plastered on it, but it's just like, God damn, man, is he really like all that, man? Because it's like every commercial it's like him sitting in a chair. He's like, I'm prepared to bring you my most iconic performance yet in Far Cry 6. I'm going up against you. And I'm just like God damn, dude, this is like the cheesiest shit ever, man. um I don't even know like what point I'm just trying to make, but like I'm just like annoyed. Like every commercial, it's just like him, like yeah. I don't know. It was just something that I was noticing, and like obviously you want him, everywhere. You want people that are just watching TV to be like, oh cool, that's the guy from Breaking Bad. He's gonna be in this game. So like obviously it's smart, that they're having him in like every commercial, but it's like god damn, like it's not even like necessarily like about the game. It's just like it's gotten to that point where it's just like it's purely just about the actor, if you know what I mean. Like can you imagine like for Death Stranding if they were like, if Kojima didn't release like an 8 minute gameplay trailer and it was just like Norman Reedus, for a quick like little 30-second ad being like, "Hey, it's me, Norman Reedus, and and I'm in Death Stranding." Like it was never like about that. At least from like what I garnered from those trailers and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just get the impression that it's like for this game, it's solely banking off the fact that Giancarlo Esposito is in this game.
I feel like you make a good point, but I would counter with just that Far Cry has always been about its villains.
Yeah.
So I mean, and obviously, I think it's just a double-edged sword there, where like you have a superstar as your villain, and you're a series known for having eclectic and like impactful villains. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. And in this case, you said is he really all that? Do you mean in the game or is it like as an actor? Do you like Giancarlo as an actor, Jay?
I mean, I think personally, I think he does one thing and he does it very well. He plays basically the same character in like all the things that he does.
Yes, and I agree. And that's a good and a bad thing, of course, because you want him to be cast in roles that like reinforce that fact that he can play this just absolute like kingpin. Like he has this kingpin energy. Because with Breaking Bad, he's the kind of guy that you really don't want to go against. You really don't want to go up against, because he can bring the heat. He can really get shit done. If he tells you if you cross this line, you will be dead. You're like, you will be dead. You will be dead. You do not cross this man's like boundaries. And in this game, it makes sense that they're reinforcing that, and they're obviously, as Macho said, all the Far Cry games have been about the villains. I think like since 3 at least, that's been like the big selling point of the Far Cry games, the villain. Because after 3, and I think 3, you mentioned the experience that we have with Far Cry. Now that I mentioned 3 was my first Far Cry, and to this day, it's still my favorite Far Cry. Not because I was the first, but because what it did so well, and the rest tried to replicate, and they just didn't connect as well, if that makes sense. Because what made Far Cry 3 so memorable for me, at least, it's the fact that you are on your own. Like, on your own. Like, with Far Cry 4, at least, there's some semblance of, like, camaraderie with some people in the beginning. I haven't played Far Cry 4, but there's, like, some support to the cause against, I forgot the name of the villain, the blonde-haired guy, against him. Same with the Far Cry 5, the father or whatever his name is, whatever the name of the cult is. I never played 5 as well. There's also like a group of resistance that's against that villain. And with 6, it's even more apparent that it's literally a revolution against Giancarlo's character, which I don't know the name of. But with 3, literally it's a group of friends that get just they they get involved in something they shouldn't have, and all your friends, like, they're gone. You don't know where they are, and you're on your own. Literally, you're a tourist. You're on your own, and you get to learn throughout the game how to, like, take care of yourself. And you meet a tribe, and you get an alliance with them, and you go against the big bad, which in turn wasn't the big bad even. It was one of the 2 big bads, because there's 2 big villains in the game. But the one that they really emphasized was his name, Voss. Voss was his name, and he to this day is still, I think, one of the most memorable, like, and iconic villains in the Far Cry series. Granted, I haven't played 4 or 5. It could be that one of those 2 surpassed them, but there hasn't been enough of a change in the Far Cry formula for me to get me back into it. Because with Far Cry 3, I noticed that it's the kind of game that I will want to complete. And I mean complete. The whole map. And I did everything in Far Cry 3. All the posts, all the towers, all the camps. I found all the collectibles. I did everything. I got all the guns. I did everything, and I loved every single moment of it. Far Cry 4 and 5, although it was the same formula, and it's something that worked, the prospects of me completing a game again, it didn't motivate me to do it. And not because I saw myself, like, getting exhausted over it, but it didn't seem like that much of a... There wasn't an incentive. I don't know. I didn't... It's like Assassin's Creed, kind of. With the new formula, I appreciate, but only one of them succeeded in, like, truly capturing the new formula. And for me, that was Valhalla. The new formula. Because it's not even the old Assassin's Creed anymore. It's a different kind of an approach to the franchise. But with Far Cry, I think this is one of the one Far Cry that I might try again after so many years, for the simple fact that it's, like, at least a bit familiar, because of it's like its own version of Cuba, and there's, like, a lot of like Spanish voice acting, and there's a lot of, like, quips that only, like, people from the Caribbean will understand, and, like, certain architecture that you can only see, like, from the conquistadors, and like this, it reminds me of home, not because of what's going on socially or government wise, but because of how it looks and the paradise that is. I don't know the name of the island, but that is this version of Cuba. Giancarlo Esposito, I love the man. I love the actor. He's great, and he's a great person. I've seen interviews of him, and he's really down to earth, really chill guy. And he does beautifully what he does, and that's the one thing he does. And it's that one character that he can do. Like, he did it in The Boys, he did it in Breaking Bad, he's done it in every movie. And now, I guess it makes sense that he's in a game, because that's the kind of villain that you want to go up against. But I don't know if only him being the villain and it being such a familiar place is enough for me to go back. Because it's still the same formula of you go into camps and you go into towers and you go into discover the map and going with it's the first person shooter approach. You know, you have your stealth missions, you'll have your guns blazing missions. I don't know. It's like half I want to try it, but half I know what I'm gonna get myself into, and I don't know if I want to get myself into it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I feel like that gameplay loop has been like in Far Cry since like forever now. Do you want to go stealthy or do you want to go guns blazing? It's like, I don't know, man. Like, that doesn't sound like, because like you look at the release schedule and it's like, okay, Far Cry 3 came out in 2012. Far Cry 4 came out in 2014. Far Cry Primal came out in 2016. Far Cry 5 was 2018. Far Cry New Dawn was 2019, and now 6 is 2021. So it's just like, man, like, these things are coming out basically every other year, and it's like, no wonder why people are getting, sick of it. If you give people too much of something, then yeah, obviously they're gonna get sick of it, and then you couple that with the fact that yeah, these games are not necessarily like reinventing the wheel, but like literally just iterating on top of one another. Then yeah, it's no wonder people feel the way that they do about this series.
Absolutely. And I don't know, and I struggle to think about how they could reinvent the wheel with Far Cry, or is Far Cry like, is it like a what, like it's done? Like after this one, they should just stop.
Well, there's rumors that Far Cry 7 is gonna be some online thing, so that's how they're gonna reinvent the
All
wheel.
right.
So
So
Yeah, I was just about
uh,
to say that their next reinvention of Far Cry is going to be multiplayer.
yep, just
that's
like
it feels like that's what every like so many games that stick with the same formula, eventually their reinvention of the formula is just adding multiplayer to it.
I mean that's well making it like more social,
Yeah.
games as a service kind of thing. I mean that's what they're gonna do to Assassin's Creed, so it's no surprise they're gonna do that to Far Cry as well.
Yeah.
But
You're right.
yeah,
You're right.
Far Cry. I feel like you know what you're getting with Far Cry 6. So it's
Pretty
not.
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And at least I can be at ease of mind that that's a good thing, because there's no like unexpected like twists here. There's no disappointment. You know exactly what you're gonna get yourself into. You know exactly what the formula is, the villain. You know the whole shtick. So like people can get mad at the fact that it's the same, but when they play it, they shouldn't like complain, because it's like you know what it is. You know what it's been done. Not even two other times. It's been done with four Primal, which Primal was shorter than the rest. It was like different. You had taming animals and whatever. Primal, 5, New Dawn. It's been done 4 times in the last few years. So like, there's no surprise. If you
Well,
like it, hey, it's a great follow on. I guess follow up, I guess.
I will say that for all the talk that we made about the game that's like essentially being the same as its predecessors, I do think it is a step in the right direction that they went with a voice protagonist and like actual like the character that you control actually being like a character this
Part of
time
the
around.
world.
Versus the deputy, the nameless and faceless deputy that you were in 5, and then the guy that you were in 4 that you never see his face or never hear his voice, etc., etc. So at least Danny in Far Cry 6 is actually like a character that has a personality, has a backstory, etc.,
And you
etc.
can choose between a woman and a man, right?
Yeah.
That's here's the thing. There's things that it does well. It's a step in the right direction, like you mentioned. Yeah, that definitely adds because it's the whole game.
Yeah.
You're gonna stick with this person the whole game, so it's good that you can choose and there's like actual life that was put into it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that is Far Cry 6. None of us will be playing it. So
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I just to kind of gloss over really quick of like my history. Like it's very short. I played Far Cry 3 for like 5 hours, dropped it because I got bored,
yeah.
and I haven't really played any besides that. I'm kind of like it's like like you say, you see what you get, and if it hasn't really changed since I played Far Cry 3, then why would I even engage in it?
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it's at this point with Ubisoft games, it kind of just it feels like a recycle every time. And the last as you guys know, I did my Assassin's Creed marathon earlier this year, and I kind of stopped at Syndicate because I was just really sad the fact that the next game didn't really evolve what Syndicate did really well, but it changed up the formula completely. So
man.
it makes me sad that they didn't really take Syndicate further.
Speaking of which, man, I got some smoke for IGN.
Ooh. Oh,
Ooh.
see, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I shared that exact article, and I was like, what?
Yeah. So IGN they put up their top 10 Assassin's Creed game ranking whatever on I saw the YouTube video, and they had some interesting choices to say the least, man.
Yup.
This was essentially compiled through I think like the IGN staff, so this wasn't just like one person. Um, but the some of the most like head scratching picks were they said Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which is like essentially regarded as probably like top two, top three Assassin's Creed games. They put it at number 7. And then Assassin's Creed 2 they put at number 4, I think. So
No, I think it was like 5 or 6 or something like that. It was pretty like like high that like in the tens.
no, because 6 was Valhalla and then 5 was Syndicate.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. And then
Oh, okay.
yeah. So the thing is that they put Odyssey and Origins above Assassin's Creed 2, and then they put Valhalla, Origins, Odyssey, Syndicate, and there's something else, but like all those games above Brotherhood. And yeah, just interesting choice, you know.
I don't know. Let's see. After replaying them, I can see the argument for Syndicate over Brotherhood, just because of how no, just because of the gameplay refinery, the actual open world and side questing stuff like that. Like if you go back to Brotherhood, it's a great game and it's addicting to play, but it's visually, man, it's a mess,
Bro.
and as a game itself, it's kind of a mess.
Are we really gonna cap for the button mashy combat in AC Syndicate?
As if Brotherhood is different, you just counter and attack.
Yeah, that's more interesting than just pressing square 1,000 times and fighting the same bald brute over and over again.
I mean, yeah, that's funny, but the thing is, like, I just replayed them this year, man. So like, I had this perspective of like where it went and where it came from. So, and not to say like it's that my opinion supersedes yours, not at all. I'm just saying like with like the graphical mess that Brotherhood is, with like shit popping in every time you're venturing the open world-ish area, or open area rather, of Brotherhood. It's not appealing. It's not that great. But the game itself is amazing still. It's still worth playing. But like there's certain things that like Syndicate does really well that stands out, where like I can see the argument being made for Syndicate over Brotherhood. Am I gonna agree? Not really, but I can see where the argument is made regardless, because it is a really good game.
And the funny thing is that I'm not even like the biggest fan of Brotherhood, and I'm over here defending it.
Yeah, personally, I kind of like Revelations a little more.
Yeah, I like Revelations and 2 more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit.
the funny thing is I haven't played those games in years, but I remember Revelations and 2 way more than Brotherhood's story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
I know
my
they
take.
definitely had some interesting choices in there. Yeah, putting like Origins over like kind of like the classics was kind of a little mind-boggling, even if they are like visually and just like gameplay system wise like a little archaic, but I feel like it's still really holds up well.
Yeah.
Especially Brotherhood and Revelations, and Syndicate being good. Black Flag obviously, and don't even talk to me about Unity. That game is just gosh.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention that really quickly. Yeah, so I guess that's going to do it for the podcast. Nothing else really happened this week.
You thought.
All right.
You thought.
Macho, take it away, man. Take it away.
Yes, sir. So we got a great invitation this past week, man. It's been quite a ride, man. It's let me tell you something. Your boy was happy. He was bouncing off walls. He was doing this kind of. I was ice skating across my living room floor.
Oh man,
it was great.
You see, once again, man, this is what Kingdom Hearts does to people, man. This is what it does to their brains.
It's fantastic. I love Kingdom Hearts so much, man. It's it's fantastic. Yeah, so Sora was announced for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate in the grandest of fashions. And let me just say, like, this is like, it's a monumental moment in gaming. Not because I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, that's part of it. But I'm just saying in general, like, there's a lot of like, this announcement was so layered to the point where it's a little emotional for Kingdom Hearts fans, and it's really epic as a gaming moment in this that we're kind of living in. Mostly because of where Kingdom Hearts was based on and where it's found. The inspiration for the first Kingdom Hearts game was actually Mario 64. So the fact that you have Sora finally meeting Mario kind of in this really weird and eclectic gaming universe, it's like it hits a note for people, man. It's really cool. The announcement trailer itself was just awesome. I see a couple of people thought that it was going to be Dark Souls that was going to be announced at the beginning of the trailer because of the fire and everything. That was actually really funny. Some people be like, "It's Dark Souls," and it'd be it's Kingdom Hearts. I was like, "God damn it!" But it was cool just to see Sora just really kind of enter like the world in the trailer and bring back to life kind of the Super Smash Brothers characters after their return to toys. And that kind of speaks to Kingdom Hearts as well, because Sora in the game obviously is the one that awakens hearts in a sense. He brings back kind of that not childlike joy, but more just kind of like the happiness back to their lives of like why it's great to connect with people and to really be kind to one another and stuff like that. So that was kind of all that was really embodied in this trailer, and kind of just bring back the characters to life after being turned to toys, and bringing back this magic again, and to see him kind of floating downwards while everyone was kind of waiting for him to be like, yeah, man, like you're the final character, you're the one that joined the roster. It hit a note for you guys. It hit a note for me, man. Like it was great to see that for one of my favorite characters in video games. So Sora finally joined Smash, and I couldn't be happier. I'm so excited to see what they did with him, all the costumes they gave him, all the references. And it was great, man. It was a great reveal, and a great send off for like one of the best like crossover fighting games in history, honestly.
And one of the, I bet, biggest legal nightmares that fucking they had to go through to get to Sora in the game, because when it stuff like the only semblance of Disney that you get in that trailer is the Mickey Mouse little logo on the.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing you'll get. That's
pretty
all
much
you're getting. Because even when in the map, in the Hollow Bastion map, when it changes to the sequence where it's inside Sora's heart, and you see just the background where the mural is. Usually in Kingdom Hearts, when you see that mural, it's Sora on the side, and then you see Riku and Kairi, Donald and Goofy. But in this case, you only see Riku and Kairi, and the other two circles are hollow. There's nothing there. Mm-hmm. It's like they were like, no, but we can do this. No. And the mouse was like, no. But then they were like, but we can do this. No. And they just kept going, and they finally found a way of just no Disney. There's no Disney in it. Just a Keyblade. Keyblade is enough. And I love that it's enough to get people at least interested in, I wonder what this game is. Because even Sakura was like, let me tell you about the game. Because it came out so long ago. The people that know about it are people that, like, most of them knew about it from the beginning. So not a lot of newcomers into the series, you know?
Yeah, it's legit 20 years next year. It's a 20th anniversary. 20 years since the game released.
20 years since Sora changed our hearts, not only Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly. But no, it's but again, to that point, man, it's like, yeah, it's a legal nightmare to get this character in the game, and it turns out during the actual direct, Sakurai was saying that when they took the poll 6 years ago for like a fighter request
for the 3DS, during the 3DS one and the Wii U one.
Yeah, initially they said Bayonetta was the most requested character.
They were like hiding that, man. They were like, don't say it, the mouse is listening.
It was actually Sora that was the most requested character 5 years ago, which to me is like, to hear. No, it wasn't Goku.
Man,
it's to hear that as a Kingdom Hearts fan, that there's so many people like just wanting this character into like and essentially in like the Hall of Fame for fighting games was humbling. It was really cool, you know, to see like that many fans. Because I remember when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, like around that time, I was like to myself, I was like, I only had my 3 friends in the school that I talked to frequently about Kingdom Hearts because we were all gamers. So to me, I was like, there's not a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans that I know. And then once I saw like the Kingdom Hearts website and stuff like that, okay, there's a couple more people, but like I never really understood like the scope of how much Kingdom Hearts really reached people until I would say like maybe around like the Kingdom Hearts like collection started coming out. But to hear that he was the most requested fighter in Smash Brothers, to me that's like holy crap. That's pretty awesome.
And you know what's interesting about Smash, you know, not only being like one of the biggest crossovers in history in a video game, but the fact that they were so meticulous in choosing like their characters. Some of the characters are very like you could think about you could question it like why, you know? Like you have question like Ming from ARMS. It's certain characters are like
I definitely question that one.
Why did it merit? Like did it do that great, or like are they proud of it enough that like it merited, or maybe like people really wanted an ARMS character? I don't know. I'm not too involved in the ARMS fandom, but like for some of them,
is anyone?
I don't. I don't know, man.
Man,
like,
I'm being so rude to the Nintendo community. I'm sorry.
and you have characters like Duck Hunt, which is a throwback. You know, like a real like if you tell someone that was born 10 years ago or like 12 years ago, if you ask to them like about Duck Hunt, they're gonna be like, "What the actual hell are you talking about?" Like, unless they play Smash, you know, they didn't have that fake gun and that TV where they just shot that damn duck to hell. That damn Doug getting those ducks and laughing his ass off, and you getting mad, throwing that gun on the floor and just leaving, getting some ice cream from the fridge and just sitting and thinking about your life decisions, you know?
I know they say it's the crossover and like bringing back like certain characters has been I feel like it's been eye-opening because a lot of the characters like in Smash Bros. For our DLC characters are stuff that people just did not see coming, or more or less, you know, we're like, okay,
Hero.
That's typical.
Damn,
yeah, I mean
from
Hero,
from Dragon Quest, like that's insane.
Joker, right? Terry Bogard, you know, it's like all these different characters. Obviously Kazuya from, I feel like Kazuya was kind of like a shoo-in because of the fact that Bandai Namco worked on this game for its lifetime. So eventually, you know, the Tekken creator was like, come on, can we get like at least, you know, an actual Tekken character into this game?
Yeah. But I mean, I was gonna go with like the argument of like people wanting Gino from Mario RPG, and I was gonna be like, but who remembers it? But it's like, who remembers Ming? You know, like who played ARMS? I know a lot of people played it, but like, did they really think that it was that iconic?
Did they really?
But again, that's no like trash talk to Ming. Ming is a great character, like it's a Smash character, and
yeah,
from
she's
the game,
cool. I like that.
It's a great design. I love everything about her. It's just the idea of putting her in a game with characters like Cloud or Sephiroth, where they overshadow so many of the others in the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hey, at least Sora made it for a rematch against both of them.
I know, yeah, we go finally have our rematch we didn't get in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Bro, they better have in that the part in Smash where you can like fight different battles like in different contexts. They should put one with Sora and like Cloud or Sephiroth where you have to beat that like challenge or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
It's a throwback to like one of the hardest fights I ever had in a video game. Not even the Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 1 Sephiroth battle, that was insanely hard. Because you have to be so precise. So precise.
It's still a ton of fun. Even like on the hardest difficulty mode, it's still like a ton of fun. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they stealth drop like some extra skins for Cloud and Sephiroth, mainly like the Kingdom Hearts skins, because they're just incredible designs, especially for Cloud with like the bandage buster sword and the one wing that he has. So like his entire design was like a homage to Final Fantasy VII and to Vincent as well. So I would love to kind of see that in Smash Brothers alongside like the Sephiroth skin. That would be really cool. But yeah, man, Sora's been added to Smash, and it's fantastic. I watched that direct like 3 times. I haven't shut about it to my fiance. She knows I'm like super excited that this thing even happened. But yeah, it's cool. Like I said, it's cool to have like your favorite character in the Hall of Fame, and the way they introduce him just in the trailer, and like it's perfect in every way.
Beautiful.
That
Beautiful.
cinematic trailer is absolutely perfect. Like the way they kind of really hit home like who Sora is and like what he means to the series and what he means to people. So I'm happy.
Did you guys, before, obviously this thing gets, announced well beforehand, your mind starts racing and imagining like who could the final, character be? Where were you guys like thinking, or who did you guys, think the final character could be before it was actually revealed? Were you always of the mindset that it was going to be Sora, or did you think it was going to be someone else?
Well, I really, really hoped that it would be Sora, but I wasn't going to hope so much to the point where I would be disappointed. So I was keeping it in the back pocket. And honestly, the one thing I was thinking of that they could have done, which I seen some people throwing around too, and I thought it would be a good idea, or at least a different idea, would be to have a new character from a new Nintendo IP that would have been announced in the direct. I thought that would have been something that would have been they could do. Or the other thing I was thinking of was another fighting game character, possibly from like Killer Instinct, because they had a relationship with Microsoft, with Banjo-Kazooie and everything.
Ew.
Yeah, I know, but these are it could have. The thing is, it could have been anything, but for me, it had to be someone from a video game. It had to be someone from a video game, and people were saying Master Chief, and I was like, I don't know about that one, man.
That would have been cool, though. That would have been cool.
I feel like it would have been, yeah, I feel like it would have been a cool, like, varied, part of the pack, but I don't know. I really don't think Master Chief would have been. I don't know if it had the same impact as like Sora or like even like any other like characters that people were having.
I think it would have, because that's fucking huge to have. That's literally not only like cross franchise but like cross platform essentially, right? So that would have been really, really cool. But to me, why I say ill to Killer Instinct is because like I feel like that would have that probably would have been fine for people if that was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 characters ago, right? But like for like the final character that's going to be added to Smash, like that's like a level of like gravitas that you have to hit. It has to be someone like monumental, like a Sora or like a Master Chief, or something along those lines. So that's why the Killer Instinct one wouldn't be.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Like, God, like, could you imagine if it was like fucking Chris Redfield or something like that? How nuts that would be.
I absolutely can't imagine. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool if there was a Resident Evil character at it. I mean, some people threw around Crash, all this. So like, that's the fun thing about it. It could have literally been anybody. Spyro too, yeah. So like, it could have been literally anybody, and I think that's like the fun about it. But honestly, I was not really banking on Sora, no matter how much I wanted to hype it, because of the legalities of it and how impossible it really could have been to actually even make that happen. Another character, actually, before Walt answers here, Monster Hunter. I thought that was a likely high chance for a Monster Hunter character to be involved in Smash, especially with the relationship with Capcom and Monster Hunter Rise and everything, and the fact that Monster Hunter character in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was awesome. Like, she was so much fun to play as, so to even have that like as a Smash character would have been amazing. It would have been absolutely amazing, and I would have been so happy with that if they had Monster Hunter character.
Yeah. What about you, Macho? Or Walt?
Let's see. I'm looking at Nintendo All-Star Brawl, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and I just want to say that I'm glad that Korra and animated. So for Smash,
Antoff, man,
Antoff. For Smash, I wasn't married to any idea of any character. There have been a lot, and I mean a lot, of very, very good candidates thrown around throughout the years. before this final season.
Except for the Superman one.
Dude,
Yeah.
when people go and like Goku, man, some people were really rooting for Goku to be in Smash, which in my mind, like, bro, seriously.
Didn't they come out? Didn't they come out and say no? Goku's not gonna be in Smash. Didn't they do that at one point?
I hope so.
I think they did.
Because here's the thing, man. I can expect that kind of energy in Fortnite. Bring Goku in, bring that skin in. Yeah, bring that fucking skin in. It's a fucking skin. But in Smash, how are you gonna introduce that? Like, I don't see the logic business-wise in that.
It just really doesn't make sense either way. Smash Bros is a video game museum. It's not video game plus one anime.
Exactly, and not the most like mainstream anime because of the sake of being mainstream. Like, don't put that one anime. Like, put it like if they went nostalgia with some characters, it went like critically acclaimed with some characters. Some characters we don't even know about until Smash came out, and we're like, who is this? Like when I first played Melee, I was like, who the hell is Marth? And then I discovered Fire Emblem. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Or even Terry Bogard. I had no idea who the character was.
Dude, Terry, like, I follow a YouTube channel called Happy Console Gamer, and he's like huge into like SNK and like old school just fighting games and whatnot, and beat 'em ups. And when Terry Bogard was announced, I was familiar with him because of his channel. And in my mind, I'm like, there's a huge audience for people like this. So I noticed, I talked about Ming, but I know that a lot of people want to like see ARMS characters in there and whatnot. But honestly, there were some candidates that I saw like were really obvious that would. It's all in the delivery. You mentioned Master Chief Soul, and truly, what makes these reveals all the more worth it, it's the way it's revealed, because each and every reveal has been so specific to each character, and I mean like it's been tailored to that character. There was no. With Sora, Jesus. It makes sense that he was introduced in such a smooth and such a like beautiful way, and not really like throwing hands, not like Sephiroth where he's literally cutting the like that god being in half, and he's
he's like a boss fight. He's like I'm the real boss.
Exactly. It's like that makes sense. With Richter, it makes sense. He's hunting death, or what was the other one? Simon? Is it Simon that's in the game as well?
Yeah, it was Simon and Richter. Yeah.
Simon and Richter.
Yeah, they were. The way that they were revealed, Luigi was actually doing his ghost hunting, and he got killed, and that's when Simon came in and saved the day.
Yeah, and that makes sense. They're hunters. They're and the way that it was set out, because it was very like a very horror themed reveal. It makes sense because you're always in a castle. It was inside the castle that this reveal was done.
Yep,
everything is tailored in such a like, it's specific to the characters. I think that with Master Chief, like you mentioned Master Chief, and in my mind I'm imagining like they're looking at the sky and they're like, what the fuck? Like they see something falling, and then they just zoom in and you just see this just hunk of metal just diving into the ground, and boom, just lands on the ground, and it's like, oh yeah, he can survive falls from space. He arrived to Smash, like I don't know, something epic like that. With Resident Evil, I imagine like you put Mario in a castle or in a mansion, and there's a licker that's about to like swipe at him, and you just see a bullet go through the licker, and you see like Jill Valentine like on the corner, like, and she's like revealed, like stuff like that. That's what makes the reveal so magical. With Sora, there was a lot of people that were really. They're really vocal about him not wanting Sora in the game, and that's not because of Sora. It's because they can't get into Kingdom Hearts. That's the only reason I've seen why people like complain about Sora being in Smash. It's not the fact that it's Sora. They're not like being happy, like, oh great, like the Kingdom Hearts fandom, which is enormous, is gonna have like their own icon in the game. No, they're like, ugh, like, dude, I never got into this game. Like, I don't get it. It's like, dude, it's not about you, They
Yeah,
got him?
like again, I'm not gonna. I know I said before that I wouldn't take shit for people that talk bad about Kingdom Hearts, but like, to each their own. It's exactly to each their own. And I know what the series means to me. I know like how much I love it. So I'm
Yeah,
not
That's not
gonna.
gonna affect
right.
you if someone doesn't like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no.
100%.
I'm gonna get mad for you
no.
though, cause fuck them, Macho. They gotta appreciate that other people appreciate it, and they gotta respect that. I don't give a
Yeah,
shit if
that-
people
yeah,
people gotta
exactly.
stop capping, and the whole like
Exactly.
we Sephiroth in the game, King K. Rool's in the game. We got Zero Suit Samus. We got so many icons in this game. There's 89 damn characters in this game. Like, man,
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. That's what like when people like go out of their way to like, or even like some people like had some like really snarky remarks and tweets I saw. I'm just like, all right, I'm putting you on mute for a little bit because
time out for you.
it's like this is like a really great moment for people, and people have been waiting for this. Like even said in the trailer, Sora is finally here because people have been really wanting this.
Even Sakurai was like, huh? Even I was shocked.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, his reaction was like, good. Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah. No, it's I completely agree with you. Well, yeah, there's some people that are just being kind of like naysayers about it, and like I get it, man. It's character you didn't want in it. It's in it. But at the end of the day, man, like I feel like they did a really good job for the most part with their selection for guest characters, and to really like round out like kind of like the Hall of Fame. It's like I said, it's a big deal, man, and I mean that like in more ways than one of like how layered this announcement was and how it was revealed and everything. And people take it what they will, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, there's no comment, there's no tweet, there's no video that can dampen my mood to the fact that this character is finally in this game
Yes, sir.
for a series that like I love to death, the good and the bad.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Love to hear it.
I'm happy for you.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, so I guess is that all you guys wanted to say about it?
Yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time here.
No, it's fine. We had to talk about it. I know I was giving you shit, but but no, we had to talk about it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I guess really quickly, I guess we can kind of touch on the GI live conversations that both Jim Ryan and Jade Raymond had this past
definitely.
week. Nothing really too big came out of it. I did think there was one. I don't know if you guys ended up listening to it, but did you guys listen to it or not?
I did, yeah. I listened to both of the interviews.
Oh,
Just
okay.
recently, Jade Raymond's last night. Yeah, I saw the entire thing.
Oh, okay. Did you remember that story that Jim Ryan had about Ken Kutaragi?
I did, yeah. That was a standout. I saw the quote first. I saw it in my head. I'm like, I wonder if he said it like this. And he said it exactly like the way he thought he said it. So it was a good laugh.
I thought, like, personally, man, like, I thought this was like a really good, and of course not people have their preconceived notions about Jim Ryan, and like I'm the last one to like really go to bat for an executive or whatever, but like I felt like this was really good in a sense of like humanizing the guy. Like I don't know, I don't think he's this like evil husk of a person that people think he is. Like I don't know, this added like much needed like personality to sort of like the face of PlayStation or whatever. So I thought in that sense the interview was really nice.
Yeah, and see, that's why I actually wanted to bring it up more as a topic because you heard from me and Walt the entire year how PlayStation seems like this kind of like this shadow, especially within the past year of like they're not as vocal, and they seem to be kind of keeping people in the dark, and then when they answer, but it's very far few in between. And then something like this where you're literally just getting on camera, you're talking about the state of PlayStation, you're talking about the future of PlayStation and what that means for you and what that could mean for everybody else. It brings a light that it didn't before, and I like to see that. Especially the point he made when the interview asked him, so what's PlayStation to you? And he's like, well, first is the games, it's a community, and what was the third reason? Do you remember?
He said that it's cool or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's like it's a cool brand to like just be a part of. So I feel like that kind of just hit home for me, really. I'm like yeah, okay, PlayStation is in good hands. Herman Hulst already. I was like, okay, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. We're gonna get some good stuff. But like with Jim Ryan talking, it made me sure like, yeah, this might be PlayStation's best generation. Like as far as planning wise and the content wise and what we might be getting down the line. Like I feel like we're in for some real great stuff if you're a PlayStation gamer, or if you just have the console and you game on it.
Yeah, for sure. And same thing with Jade Raymond's interview. It was really cool just getting her perspective in terms of like building out a essentially fresh from the ground up studio during a pandemic, and why she chose PlayStation. I thought was really interesting. So this whole thing, I actually wanted to bring this up because there was this concern earlier of PlayStation not giving their creators creative freedom, blah blah blah, and then she kind of is like one of the reasons why she picked them is because PlayStation's reputation in terms of giving devs the breathing room to create what they want, and that's why she wanted to work with them. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. What did you think about that, Macho?
Yeah, so it was funny. I actually not even argued. I just went back and forth with this one guy on Twitter that was saying they took like the clip that you're talking about from the Jay Raymond interview and saying like, look at that. It's this. I'm not gonna say this reporter, but like this reporter's narrative about PlayStation not working well with developers completely debunked. I was like, not really. If anything, this clip where she's talking about it's great to work with PlayStation and they have a reputation of working well with developers. It just adds to the story of PlayStation's relationship with all these developers, because everyone has their good and bad relationships. It's not as black and white as people like to really think it is. And I feel like this adds to more of the positivity side of it that we've been kind of seeing being trickled out the past couple months with Herman Hulst's interview, with their relationship with developers and partnering with all these different developers and indie developers, with Shuhei bringing more spotlight, I would say, to indies as well, really highlighting them on his profile and saying like, hey, look what's on the indies page on PlayStation storefront. Look what's on the front page here, So it's getting better and better, and I that's what I like to see. And I think a lot of like what the confusion was the pandemic, and Jim Ryan made note of that in the interview as well as Jade Raymond. Like the pandemic had like a really, really significant effect on how people worked and how we relayed messages and how they go forward with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was just really great to hear, essentially straight from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
Just why they chose, because you would imagine someone like Jade Raymond, she definitely, almost like Kojima in the sense that she definitely had suitors, plenty of people to choose from, and the fact that she chose PlayStation, it was really cool to hear the reasoning. Another thing, maybe even like more importantly, to me, was the type of game that she was making. I feel like this was like alluded to during like job listings and et cetera, but basically the confirmation that her team is working on some sort of like online game, which was disappointing to me, because that's not what I look for in a Jade Raymond game. But
I was going to ask you about that, because I definitely got the hint of that when she was talking.
Yeah, because she was talking a lot about community and things of that nature, and it definitely insinuated a live service type of game. And they have the essentially the a lot of the original members of the OG Assassin's Creed team on there, including Corey May, who was like the writer on the first few games. He's at Haven Studio as well, so I don't know. I was really hoping with that kind of pedigree behind that studio that Jesus Christ, man, Kana is fucking bullshit, man. God damn, dude, what the hell? Man. But yeah, I was really hoping that with the pedigree, like God damn, this game has me fucking sweat. My hands are sweating, man. But yeah, I was hoping with the pedigree at that studio that they were making a single player game. But that's not. What the fuck, man? God.
You heard it here first, man. Soul just raging on a kitty game.
Yeah, this game ain't no joke, man. Like, God damn. But yeah, whoa. How do you feel about this?
The man didn't watch the interviews.
I didn't, because when y'all sent it, I was on my way fucking home, and I'm like,
I was just joking. You really didn't watch him?
No, because I was on my way home from work.
He didn't miss much. Yeah, let's be honest. He didn't miss
No, he didn't.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it when I get home. I got home, I sit down, and I'm like, all right. Next thing I know, it's 3 a.m, and I'm like, whoa! And I wake up, and I have my phone on I'm like, oh, right, and I went to sleep. So I didn't.
I was kind of looking forward to what you were gonna say, because I know you and I are kind of like on the same wavelength when it comes to PlayStation messaging, and especially Jim Ryan's and his ex, and how they present themselves and what they've done and what they're doing.
No, but in regards to, Soul mentioned earlier, or I think it was you, that we have been very, and I mean very, very vocal, at least for the first half year, of how PlayStation just hasn't even talked at all, especially throughout like big decisions they were gonna make, like the what do you call it, the fucking PlayStation 3 and PS Vita and PSP like stores just shutting down. All I can say, at least from the knowledge that I have, not from the interview itself, but from Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan, we give Jim Ryan a bad rap because, how Jay say, a lot of people just look at him and it's just a drone, just another Zuckerberg, that you look at him and it's just, yeah, he's just the man behind it. But no, it's like a kid. It's a kid that succeeded at something. Not really. This isn't a fucking Chris Pratt situation where you get excited for the guy. This is an executive we're talking about, where he's trying. Now it looks like he's trying to actually communicate to the public the moves that are trying to happen, what PlayStation is trying to do, whether that be through actually providing creative freedom to studios, whether that be true or not. Because that's the thing, they can tell us whatever, whether it's true or not. We find out months later. Because there have been moments where not maybe only PlayStation, but where companies say something in interviews, and then we find out months later that reality is a different kind of shades of gray.
They've always sort of like had that philosophy at PlayStation where they allow. Otherwise, fucking Naughty Dog would be still making Uncharted, or Sucker Punch would still be making Infamous, or et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. Like that's a point that I've truly always believed, because it would be so easy to, in a Microsoft way. God, fuck, man, this game. God damn! Like play back this footage, man, or rewatch the podcast, and just this fucking boss is giving me the work, man. God, this is literally harder than I played Dark Souls 3. I played Demon Souls this year. This is literally harder than any boss I fought this year. I don't even remember what point I was gonna make, man. I don't even want to play this game anymore. God damn. Yeah.
But in any case, at least Jim Ryan has a nice sense of humor, right? Because that Ken Kutaragi story was honestly really funny, where like he would just almost like make your business more efficient, was what Ken said to them.
That was funny.
And then he was like, okay, yeah, great advice.
And look at them now.
It's cool, man.
That's also something I didn't know, that Europe actually became like the most profitable, or not profitable, but it was like their leading market during the PS2 or something like that. I didn't know that.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
For that advice. Impressive. If it wasn't for the advice, he wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah. That's why like when it's kind of weird when you see like people talk about sales and whether it's worldwide or certain specific regions, like from what I've seen in all my years of gaming, the PlayStation absolutely dominated when it came to Europe and Japan. Like that was just like no question. And then obviously in North America is where PlayStation and Xbox kind of went head to head. But in Europe and the most recent the past 10 years or so, yeah, it's been like an absolute powerhouse for PlayStation. Like that's like a market they can absolutely rely on. And yeah, to kind of like hear Jim Ryan kind of like talk more about that was kind of interesting. It was like one of those facts that like you kind of had a sense, but you never really knew. So it's and it turns out he was one of the ones that actually pioneered all that.
Yeah.
And unless you try and you actually wait, because again, in businesses this scale, you don't really see the fruit of your labor until like probably to like even a decade later. So it like really took time to simmer and actually see the results of such great advice, or such decisions that maybe it was already in the plans. I don't know. In hindsight, we can say, great, yeah, they did great, but that wasn't always the case, And something could have happened, and like right now, the most current event that has really damaged not only just PlayStation, but like literally every single company, like the pandemic, which is why I would understand if they were quiet but there were no decisions being made. I would understand because of the pandemic, because they really have to like go back into like from square one and like figure out, okay, how are we going to tackle this? Like every operation is changing. But the fact that there were decisions being made, such drastic decisions, and absolutely no tweet, even nothing, when Microsoft was constantly putting out updates, even Nintendo like putting out updates and saying like, yeah, the Mario collection is gonna go, like it's gonna be out of the market in a year. It's like at least they communicate the shitty decisions they make, Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now, hey, Jim Ryan's talking more. He's more. We've been hearing more about the man. At the beginning of the year, it was like, he's probably sleeping. He hadn't taken his shot. He was still, when we took it, he was sick. So we understood. He was, chilling in his bed, and Macho was like, man, this man. I texted him, and he ain't responding. Yeah. This man was.
He left me on red. He left me on red.
He ghosted you, man. And hey, that happens when you're that busy sleeping. It happens. But reality is, he was not sleeping. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully.
No, but like, I like that you said that, because it's like, I know you're joking, but like to the point, it listed out like the priorities he has in mind when it comes to running PlayStation. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things when the guy asked, what's the 3 things you see as PlayStation, the first thing he said was games. I was like, all right, cool. I know where his priorities lie. Like, obviously, you want to assume that he knows what makes PlayStation great, but him just saying it just affirms it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He also said in the thing that he's an introvert and that he's not really good at public speaking, and I related to that a lot. Absolutely, the introvert part. It makes sense now. So
yeah, and here's the thing, like, we joke around with the guy, but it's because we understand. I mean, I understand, and it's hard to try and justify someone that is in such a high position within such a multi-million-dollar company. But it's, at the end of the day, he's still human. There are still decisions that are not as easy to make as one might think. Just because another company did it doesn't mean that the other company has the same grit or the same skills to do it, and that's fine. Everything takes its time. I'm glad that they took a step back, with the big decisions they were making at this year, because of the backlash, because of the communication. At least they heard us. We don't hear them, but it's seeming like they're listening to us, at least a little bit, Although,
they're definitely listening. They're definitely listening.
Even though we can't hear them, but they are hearing us. So as long as the community is always vocal and they're constructively saying things that they want and not being toxic maniacs, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And if the man and in front of his head, it's games. It's like I get so happy as much as we clown on Nintendo. I get so happy when I'm like on Twitter and I see Doug Bowser just saying like he's like on a boat and he takes a picture of his Switch and he's like gonna be gaming all weekend or some shit like that. I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
games.
have a dreadful day. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
tweet.
have a dreadful day. Like
Yeah.
I love it. I love that like at least little fragment of like relatableness that we have with these people, because they're at the end of the day they're gamers, so it's nice that these interviews exist and that he actually spoke, when he's comfortable enough he'll talk about it, and we understand that he's not really, if he's an introvert, hey man, we understand it's not easy. That anxiety is not easy to get rid of.
Yeah, I think they are getting better in a sense, because this relates to actually news that dropped earlier in the week, where I actually got an email from PlayStation. I wish they like put like, not maybe it's not blog worthy, but at least like a tweet or something, where other articles are just reporting on this. But I got an email saying like, hey, we saw that you recently purchased like some games on your Vita. Just to let you know, you can't buy a game using your credit card or a debit card. You actually have to add credit to the PS Vita and PS3 stores now in order to buy stuff.
Oh yeah, they did make that
that's
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big thing if you're still playing your Vita, or somehow still playing your PS3. Whether you want to download games, something like that, if you want to buy games from the store, just make sure after I think the end of this month, you're gonna need to add credit to your account.
Yeah, I'm happy that from the beginning of my PlayStation journey, since the beginning, I've always purchased digital games through credit, like actual credit, like PlayStation gift cards.
Yeah,
I've never used like my actual credit card or like PayPal or anything. Like right now,
Yeah.
I've used it a couple times with PlayStation 5 because it's really convenient. But when it came like until like 2 weeks ago, like literally I started like 2 weeks ago doing it, I always bought just the gift cards, and kept buying it.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and it helps me be disciplined with my money, because if I put my credit card in, I'm gonna change and gonna start doing credit again. But if I put my credit card in my mind, I'm like, man, if I just hit this button, I can get this game right now. But with credit, it's like, no, you only have so much. Use it wisely. With me, it works that way, and I like it. I like that it works that way.
Yeah, man, discipline's hard. I can definitely tell you. I see a couple of games on sale, I'm just like, ooh, it's on sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't it be great to have in my digital collection?
Yes. And I might have the game physical, but I'm like, what if I just get this digital?
Yeah, that's what I did with Ease 8, and that's what I did with Ease 8, and I still haven't really fully played it. I bought it for $20, like man, what, 2 months ago? So I still haven't touched it.
Question. This is completely unrelated to PlayStation. So before I touch on that, anything else y'all wanted to talk about the interview with Jim Ryan, PlayStation?
No, we're probably gonna wrap up the podcast now.
Okay, so quick thing, and I'm just gonna suggest it because it's October. I don't know who's gonna be like take out the task of it, take on the challenge. If I suggest 3 different games to y'all to pick one of them, horror themed, would y'all pick one?
I mean, sure.
And like for October, like just so you can like try a horror game.
Maybe it depends on the gaming schedule, man. I said Scarlet Nexus. I'm getting Lost Judgment today.
Okay, okay. And how about you, Jay?
I mean, yeah, it would depend.
Okay, okay. Would it depend on what, the type of game or like the time you have?
Yeah, the time I have.
Okay, okay. Okay, then I can suggest one game now, or I can suggest 3 later. Do y'all prefer to have like 3 prepared and y'all can choose one of them, or do you want to take the one I have suggest now?
Probably later.
Okay, okay, good choice, because the one I was going to suggest is really tough, but I'll have the 3 ready, and y'all can pick from that.
Okay.
All right, and I mean, there's money involved, obviously, because you have to pay for the game if you don't have it.
Man, I'm trying to get an OLED Switch. You're telling me to pay more money?
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, they didn't tell you to get the OLED.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Really quickly, we should touch on the GTA trilogy that was finally
Do we have
confirmed.
to?
I mean, there's what I'm not. We're in agreement that this isn't going to be anything too crazy, right?
No, it's not. It's not. It's Rockstar, man. Come on. They're releasing the same trilogy, definitive trilogy on mobile. It's not gonna be any different.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
It's probably gonna be enhanced controls, which is like a given because they're re-releasing it. It's gonna cost money, and as far as like enhance the graphics and visuals, we'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah. They keep releasing GTA 5, so nothing different there. So nothing different here.
And on top of that, they're actually taking down like the original digital versions of the game. So.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Damn.
That's pretty shitty.
Okay.
Game preservation at its finest, boys.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
Shit.
But yeah, not expecting too much with this. Yeah, the fact that that they said it was gonna be on mobile, I think that was all the kind of confirmation that we needed. Which is disappointing because I kind of do want to play Vice City and San Andreas again because it's been probably more than a decade since I played those games. But yeah, I don't know if this is the way I'm gonna re-experience those games. But yeah.
Do you think they're gonna release them separately or just one package?
Hell no.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, they'll do all three of them together.
A Nintendo situation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's exactly. You think Nintendo was gonna sell the Mario All Stars collection separately?
Nah.
I mean, you would kind of hope, but yeah, I know what you guys mean.
Yeah, hell. No.
But just like Ronin and Endgame, don't do that. Don't give me.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for the podcast. I want to thank you guys for checking out the podcast. Mahmood, I see you in the chat, man. Hope everything's well with you.
Mahmood the man.
Yes, I think he's I think we talked before he got promoted. He's assistant editor in chief.
Yeah,
man.
we
He's
did.
put in the work. Put in the work, man.
Yes, sir.
Good shit.
Love that guy. And happy birthday to your daughter too. I think she turned 3. Is what he was saying. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, we'll be back next Saturday, relatively same time, talking about whatever happens in the industry. Before we go, we're gonna get started with these outros. Macho, you want to kick things off?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic signing off. Swords and Smash, baby. Really excited for that to come out, man. I hope everybody has a safe and blessed weekend. Stay gaming, man. I'm excited to. Like I said, today I'm getting judged. I should be getting Lost Judgment today, so I can finally put my knuckles on some bullies, man. I'm excited. But yeah, man. Stay safe, everybody.
Crazy. Walt, how about you, man? What's going on?
Well, gonna read a volume. Gonna be reading some more Fire Punch. Excited to get through that. Halfway through the series already. Pretty dark story, so I'm having a blast. Gonna be playing more Tales of Arise this weekend. I'm gonna set up my workstation. Gonna be starting next week. I'm unaffected on Saturday, so I can keep coming to the podcast. We don't have to reschedule or anything, so I'm good on that. Other than that, man, I'm looking into some horror games, and I already got a couple that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about it. It's been a while since I played like a legit horror game, and I get scared pretty intensely. I'm looking at one that's called Visage, and it has like a ghost lady, and if there's one thing that terrifies me in movies and video games, it's ghost ladies.
Yeah.
There's something about it, man. What?
Man, one game just came out actually. What about Alan Wake?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I've never played Alan Wake.
I haven't either, but it's on my list for sure, and it looks good. And from what I see, is people saying it still holds up, despite it being like kind of like an old-ish game.
Right. Hey, man, I
That could be
might
on the
check it
list
out.
too.
Yeah,
That could be a good one.
absolutely. October. We're just starting the month of October. Halloween is still weeks away. Gonna be spooky myself all the way through because I like to get myself heart attacks.
Oh man, all
I'll
you
be
gotta
doing.
do is just look in the mirror, man. That's all you gotta do.
And that, guys, is a DualShock and Sense roast.
Sorry, dad jokes.
Nah,
I'm not
you
dad.
good, and you're not even a dad yet.
Nah, I'm not.
But yeah, man, I'll be checking out those horror games. Might replay some old ones. I'm gonna check out. I downloaded the demo of what's it called, Tormented Souls, and it looks like it's a Resident Evil type game, like the first ones, like fix the angles and like in a mansion and whatnot. Gonna try it out, see how it holds up. But yeah, that'll be me, man. More and more college, because that doesn't stop. How about you, Soul?
Yeah, not much for me.
Getting your ass kicked more on Kana?
Hey, I actually beat that boss, so yeah.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, we got it. But yeah, no joke. That was like with that, and I'm scared because I remember people talking about this one boss in particular called Taro. That I should be fighting fairly soon. I remember Kid Smooth was like freaking out about it on Twitter. He was like, "God damn it!"
Damn.
So I'm
That's
not
nothing new though. He definitely loves to rage at bosses.
I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, probably more Kina. Deathloop, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
surprised
much.
you haven't finished that, to be honest.
I'm surprised too, man. Yeah, there's I don't know. There's certain things that you can only do during certain periods of time, and that's really kind of throwing me out of a loop. No pun intended.
Oh, intend your pun, weakling.
Yeah, just in terms. Yeah, again, there's only certain things that you can do during certain periods of time, and so like it'll be like, oh, you can only reach this target during the night, and then I'll be doing something else during I'll be at another map entirely during that time of day. So then it's like, okay, now I got to restart the entire day. So yeah, it's kind of throwing me out of a loop.
Is it kind of like Returnal in that sense, where like you sit down, you're like, all right, time to play?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because you can't. So like, if you can't save within, like, if you jump into, whatever time of day that you're in, you can't save while you're in that specific loop. You can only save once you exit out in an area. So like, honestly, and I think that's another thing that's kind of messing me up, is because like I have to find like, okay, like a time where I can sit down and I'm solely focused on Deathloop, because you can't save when you're actually in the game and playing it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That actually messed me up with the when I very first booted up the game, because when I was in like the first mission or whatever, I think I played a little bit and then I exited out. I closed the application, turned off my PS5, and then went and did something else. And then when I came back, I had to literally restart the game from the beginning because I didn't know that it didn't save. So yeah,
Oof.
that's that.
Oh, Soul, did you finish Squid Game?
Yeah. I was gonna say, if anyone's still in the Squid Game kind of mood, check out Alice in Borderland.
Yes, I started that. I was about to say, Alice in Borderland, definitely. It's based in Japan, so the whole setting, it's fresh, but there's some survival stuff going on, and I love it. It's great. Yes, try it out. And if you still haven't checked Squid Game, check it out. Same to you, Macho. It's amazing. it's fantastic. It's a fantastic show. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for the podcast, man. Again, thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you guys next week. Peace out.